Hey everybody, welcome to No Breakaways, your source for all the virtual racing tips, tricks, and takes, I guess we'll say. Yeah, so I'm here with I'm Rick Wenger, and I'm here with my co-host, my amazing co-host, Jordan Shane, Project Echelon Racing, peakformcoaching.com. Any virtual teams?
Not going to talk about that quite yet. We have,
Ugh.
I mean, just not because we're holding out, but actually just because I have not had time to address that issue.
But you're holding out on me too. Like he hasn't even told me off air. I gotta admit,
Yeah,
I'm kind of pissed about it.
yeah. How exciting could it be if I'm literally just not devoting time to it right
Yeah.
now?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough. Okay.
but I was on Zwift today because we've had some weather in Tucson. Like, I'm not kidding. It usually rains like once a month here, but in the last, we came back from Ontario, where of course it's miserable and cold. I think we've had like 6 rain days since then, and that was 3 weeks. So it's winter here, man, and it's been cold. I had to wear leg warmers yesterday. Like,
How cold was it
dude,
yesterday?
when I went out, it was like 46. So
Okay.
that's nippy. And it was like 60 by the time I was done. But,
I was gonna
you
say,
know,
do you really need leg warmers when it's 46?
yeah, I mean, it's a pro move to wear the leg warmers to protect your delicate joints. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, hot take, I hate leg warmers. Like, I think they're stupid in general, but like, sometimes you do need
So
them.
this is not on the agenda, but I'm gonna come back to one of my hot takes. I do not understand why you people wear bibs indoors. I okay, this last week, so I'm doing this 30 for 30, and we're gonna get to that. I promise we're gonna get to that. My hell, my torture here. But I had to wear bibs because I forgot to wash all my other shorts. They're terrible. Maybe they're good outside, even though I hate them outside. They're the worst. They're hotter. It's I had to poop and I had to take off my whole shirt. It
All
was
right. Well,
ridiculous. Why
it's a
would you wear?
family friendly show, but sure, let's talk about your issues with your poop and your
Listen,
bits.
we all poop. Everybody poops, Jordan. Everybody
That's true.
poops, as my children will
That's
tell you the first time you meet them. I do not understand. They are hotter. They're hotter. Why do you wear them inside?
Well, sometimes heat just isn't an issue. Like, I don't know. I have my setup and I have like an AC unit next to it, and I have the door open. Heat is not an issue as it was like 5 years ago. It's like, oh, how do we figure out how to keep this place cool? But we all got these beefy Lasco fans now, and like, I'm just not worried about it.
Dude, I
So,
I do not understand them. They're not even as comfortable as shorts. When was the
oh,
last time you
that's
biked with just shorts on? They're so nice.
no, I remember those days as a young
Dude,
cyclist when I thought bibs were not cool. You gotta wear them outside, man. And
no.
like, oh yeah, and
Why?
what's your longest ride on average? Like every month, like 2 hours?
Outside?
No, inside.
Oh, bro, I'm if I break the 1 hour mark, that's a day. That's a
Yeah.
day. That's a long.
See, I think I might agree with you that shorts would be good for a sub 1 hour affair, but give it time. Things start to move around and create their own little imbalances. And the bibs just hold everything in place. You want even contact on that chamois. And like over time, that shorts just slip a little bit, and it's a game of inches, so to speak, and down around that region. And the bibs, dude, like if you started riding outside doing like 3 hour rides on the weekends, like I would say you'd be on bibs. It's just not even a question among like outdoor cyclists in real
Oh,
life.
you almost slipped. That was good. I like that. I like that. Amongst outdoor cyclists. That
I
was
mean,
good.
we do say it's a different sport, and
It
so
is.
real
No.
cycling would be the one outside, and virtual cycling would be the one
Well, you have
inside. Not
outside cycling and
both.
inside cycling. Yeah, yeah. I understand. I see.
So
I
today when I was on the trainer, I was not a real cyclist; I was a virtual cyclist.
so
Because
I've been thinking a lot about this very point, Jordan. This very point, and we're just totally. I came up with this. I spent like 3 or 4 hours coming up with this schedule about 15 minutes before the show. Um, and and I've been thinking, but I have been thinking a lot about this point. Okay, and here's where I got to, and I probably texted this to you at some point. Zwift is acting like the UCI, but they
Yeah,
should
dude.
be acting like a video game company.
Right.
Like, okay, it's indoor cycling, and you want cyclists on the thing, on the platform, but they're acting like old, stodgy people. Like, it's so hard to do everything. Everything's all kludgy and weird. Like, look at the Canadian. Like, just act like a video game company. Just do your own thing. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think that they would just maybe argue that because there's that human interaction, like a real, because you're exercising and there's just different elements to it of like safety or but I agree with you, it is just a video game.
And
And a lot, and in terms of a marketing perspective, why can't it be that? Stop pretending. Like, how I would love to see the stats. How many people that train and prepare and race on Zwift actually ever take that outside now? you know so like, what's the comparison we're making? And like, can we treat that customer like a video gamer, not like a cyclist?
yeah,
And by the way, that's not working so well either outdoors. Although you see Zwift do a lot of stuff like Fondos do and organize things in that way, and that's very successful outside. So I'm sure they're just trying to figure that out. You play those big video games like GTA and stuff, and like, it ain't perfect either. There's some pretty annoying stuff going on with in-app purchases, or the similar. So like, I don't know. You're right. They get stodgy for no reason. And
yeah,
like, I don't know. It like really comes down to, I almost think like a lot of the time, who are you trying to impress?
right.
Because like, me as somebody that knows the outdoor cycling world, you're not impressing me because I've seen this movie before. It's a crappy one. And like, all this officialness and stuff, does it really please the user? Could it be more fun? Could it be more open ended? Like, I don't know, man. It definitely, it could be. So
My hottest, absolute hottest of hot takes is that
yeah,
people don't actually want exact outside physics inside. That's my 100% hottest, turn it up to 11 take that so many people would hate me for and may.
I don't know that they would hate you. I think there's a thought, maybe it's misconceived that the best physics would be replicating. We want the best physics. We don't want outdoor physics. We just want the most fun physics. And like we've talked about it before, racing physics separate from fun physics sometimes, just for riding around group rides. And like, why not have two sets of physics? Uh, yeah, maybe that's a mirage of a goal, is to make it, if it's just like outside, it'll be the best. I don't know whether that's true.
Why,
Uh,
why, why would it be? The outside is just what outside, like, again, like, this goes back to like UCI versus video game company. Like, you just want to make it as fun as you can. I don't,
yeah.
I've been playing the new Mario Brothers thing with my son. It does not bother me that Mario and Princess do not behave like human beings. It's
It's
fine.
interesting you that's interesting you bring that up, because there is an analogy of on the scale of realism, because like,
You're gonna
I
say
rate
I think what I want to say. Go.
so I play a lot of racing video
Yeah.
games, and
Yes. This is
so
what I was
I
gonna say.
so I played a long time on Gran Turismo and Forza, and so Forza 4 just was sunsetted. It's over, and I don't have the new console because I don't have $1,000 to buy a new console, and like wait in line with all the people to get one. So I'm kind of stuck. I'm done right now with that game, and I'm in between. So I started playing Mario Kart because Emily plays Mario Kart, and I'm like, oh, shit, I can be good at this, right? Like, I can be good at this. But obviously, the level of realism is completely different. And so I'm trying to do some of the stuff from the other game. It's not working at all. And like, there's stuff in the Mario game, power ups. Like, I guess that's probably where that idea comes from. It is immensely frustrating because it's unpredictable, and some of it's based on luck. And just like in Zwift, some of it's based on luck. And so, like, I get pissed off with Mario Kart. And sometimes I get very pissed off at my lack of real talent in the other game. So like, there's somewhere in the middle, right, where I'm happy it's real but not too real, and so it's a balance, right?
So here's what I want to say. Have you ever turned on like real crash damage in one of those racing games?
Oh yeah, that's where it becomes way too real
It's
to
the
me.
worst. It's the worst. It is the literal worst thing. I used to literally race cars outside. Like I had a race car. Like me and my dad, we built a race car. I mean, like, yeah, occasionally there are like small wrecks and things like that, but like if you turn on real damage inside, it is the worst thing in the world. People don't want real outside racing physics out. Like they do not want
Right.
that. Just like I honestly think in a biking video game, in a cycling video game, outside physics probably aren't the best. Like we can improve on real life.
We can just but it stands to reason. Like Gran Turismo originally had like an arcade mode and a simulation mode.
Yeah.
It stands to reason we could have the same thing on Zwift because
Yes.
like when I'm riding around, just doing group rides, just trying to get some kilometers. I kind of want the Mario Kart feeling because I just want to have fun and fool around. But like a lot of times on Zwift when I'm racing, I feel like I get to the end and like that blue shell killer comes for me right at the end and just destroys my race for no reason because the physics sometimes are like, that's not real. Come on, this should work. I'm better than these guys, but it doesn't because that's the game. And like, you can throw your controller and believe me, I've rage quit the Premier League, so I've done the equivalent.
I like that
Um,
rage. That's like one of those guys in those big stadiums with like 20,000 people watching them play video games. Just get up and walk away. Just rage quit it. I like it.
Oh, if I could have broken my bike over my leg like a controller, I
Oh,
would have
dude.
in my last Premier League because I was like, no, I'm in the pocket, I'm in this draft, and like I'm gonna make it through this sprint, and like I did not. I just got drops, and I just like, no, this doesn't make sense. I'm quitting forever, and I'm a man of my word. I've not done a Premier League race
Are
since.
are you planning to do any Premier League races coming up, Jordan?
I can say that I'm not going to do the Premier League races because I'm not going to commit to the Mondays. Like we can talk about that again because like yeah, I've been talking. We can talk. I've been talking to Kevin, who's our favorite 2-time guest on this show.
Wait, is he
He
our
raced with
only two-time guest?
yeah, but also our favorite.
We definitely our favorite. Yeah.
So good, but yeah,
No,
so he's
Eric
like
is a two-time guest. He's your boss,
uh,
isn't he? Yeah, you better go with Eric. Kevin's our
yeah,
second favorite two-time guest.
yes, he is.
He can be your
Um,
second favorite. He'll be my favorite, and that way we're just giving love all around.
Yeah. In any case, Kevin, one of our favorite 2-time guests of all time. He
Top
makes the
two.
list.
Top two.
He's in the conversation. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we've been talking about racing for his team, Velocio. It's a good group of guys. There's some guys on that team that I know from my racing career. It could be a lot of fun. And he's like, oh, do you want to do a couple of the Premier League races? Because they're cool. A couple of courses, like we talked about Climbers Gambit and the TTTs, even though like I get punted based on my weight, I can still do pretty well in those. Uh, but I just thought about it and I'm like, man, that'd be great. But Monday is terrible. It ruins my weekend. Well, it literally does, Rick, because like
Yeah.
I don't have much pride in general, and I don't have a lot of pride at all when it comes to Zwift racing anymore. That's been beaten out of me. But I'm not going to show up to a Premier League race and risk being crap. And so, like, if I'm going to go do one of those on a Monday, I'm going to rest on Sunday and do the things right to perform. Because even if it's just for fun, like mentally, I'm in or I'm out on that stage. And so Monday ruins it. Like Sunday is when everybody wants to ride along on the weekend. And, there's a group ride here on Saturday that's like 5 hours, that's a ripper. And I can't do that stuff. And I'm supposed to be racing too outside in February. And so, like, what am I going to do? Race Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the road and Premier League on Monday? I know there's guys that do it, but mentally, I just can't. If there's somebody else that wants that spot that's prepared to do it right, then I'm not going to do it. So why Mondays? I don't understand. You can't make an argument that that's better for anyone. Nobody
No.
wants to watch. Nobody wants to watch anything on Monday afternoon. It's the worst day for television, other than Monday Night Football. Like, everybody in the fitness industry knows Tuesdays and Thursdays are your money days. Like that's when people want to get on the bikes and go. And so I don't know. It's anyway. So I'll be doing ZRL on Tuesdays because that's a good day for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll pick some of those. And like ZRL is at a level where I know if I'm 5% crap on the day, I can still be good for my team. But if I'm 5% crap in Premier League, see you later, boy.
I want one of the Velocio shirts. I really want one. I need to get up the
Well,
guts to just like ask Kevin for them, but I'm pretty sure those are like special ones. You have to be good enough to be on the team. And I feel like I'm almost at your level, Jordan. If I just had 3 watts per kilo more on my FTP, I'd be right there with you.
it's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
I know.
I think maybe they sell T-shirts in a package with their bib shorts. So like,
Really? Yeah, yeah.
no,
Maybe I'll take a look at those. I tell you what, I will pay the $20 for the t-shirt and you can pay the rest of the money for the bib shorts. I'll send them to you.
for the bib shorts.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah. But his
And
shirt,
so
he's
anyway,
worn it every time I've seen it. I'm like, I really want one of those shirts. May,
they're good. And in a world of like kind of like sponsor shirts, those ones are pretty cool.
I will wear that shirt on here. I see that we've had a total of 0 concurrent viewers during this broadcast, so we're bringing in the numbers so far. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people go back. We normally get like 200 people go back and watch it. My mom like 100 times, and then Jordan's parents 100 times.
I will say, like, thought for a while, it's like, okay, well, like, no one watched the show. Because, like, compared to, like, Mr. Beast, who has 40 million views, we're obviously doing nothing. But we have a very active viewer base because
We
I
do.
get comments, interaction all the time from random people on Zwift. People are like, do more shows, and I'm like, well, get your friends to fucking watch them and we'll do more shows.
But so that's a good point. Every time someone comments to me or says something on Zwift, like, "Hey, I see you're doing this or that," it like puts a smile on my face. It literally makes my day when that happens. So shout out to
Great.
literally everyone who says something on the show or says something
Yeah.
to me in Zwift. I have their comments on Strava. I love it.
But like, if you could get your friends to watch it, maybe that'd be
It would
a
be
better
cool. It would be cool.
thank you.
So I would like to point out, Jordan, I think we've set a record. We're 17 minutes in, and I have derailed us. We are not to number one on the agenda. I'm really a
Well, that
great
is,
I'm a great
yeah.
host, and you are an equally great co-host to keep us on point
Well,
for this.
I've been taking some improv classes actually in real life, and so
Really?
I'm just yeah, hey, I kind of like that stuff, and I don't know. I figure it might make me better at this show and might get us more than 0 concurrent
No,
watch.
we had one, and then they dropped after 1 second. I actually
Man,
think something weird's going on with the dashboard thing because it's
can't
like,
even stand the show for 1 second.
well, yeah. I mean, we were sitting here babbling about improv classes, and I mean, I was talking about
Yeah.
something ridiculous.
All
All
right,
right,
number one on the agenda. Let's go.
what favorite Christmas present? What's your favorite Christmas present you got this year, Jordan?
I got
Bib
some money
shorts?
present. No,
You
well,
say
as in,
money?
like, no, money as in good, as in the kids
Oh,
say.
I was like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? You got money?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. My wife just wrote.
Emily just gave you $50.
She just wrote a check memo, Christmas husband. Yeah, from our joint account.
Yeah.
I reciprocated, so
Yeah,
that's
but
our
hey,
stuff.
what can you do? What can you do? All right,
Yeah,
what is it? What's your
yeah.
one?
So,
What's your one or two or
well,
whatever?
it was a combination. So I got a food dehydrator, which is cool because I really like beef jerky. And like I actually love beef jerky. And so this thing is like, creme de la creme. And you just slice up the beef and in 6 hours it turns into any kind of jerky you wish to create. Which is cool on its own. But I also got the full flight of 10 hot ones, the show, the YouTube show, the hot wing. You don't know hot ones, Rick? Come on. Come on.
I got 2 kids, man.
They will
We
love the
just beat
show.
Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, it's a show where celebrities like, Gordon Ramsay is probably the most popular show of all, but like everybody in Jonah Hill, I saw one, DJ Khaled, they come on and they eat ascending hot wings in order of spiciness
Okay.
and also and do interview questions for each wing. So they get progressively more wrecked by the wings and start to say stupid things while they're suffering. And so the hot sauces are curated and like the last ones are legit spicy.
Have you
And
tried
but
the
I'm
sauces now?
yeah, so I got the flight of 10 for Christmas.
Yeah.
Emily last year must have been kind of hating me a bit because she only bought me the spiciest one. And like I made a commitment that I would finish it within 1 year. And I just missed that goal. I've just missed it.
Are
I
you
am
a
almost
spicy person? You like spicy? Okay, so you and me, look at this. We're bonding, Jordan.
Yes. So anyway, so I got these 10 hot sauces, and like the first 5 or 7 of them are actually delicious, like really good hot sauce. The last three, like,
They're hot for hot's sake.
oh, they're belligerently spicy. But anyway, so I have these hot sauces, and I can make spicy beef jerky in the food dehydrator, which is kind of like, manna from heaven for me. So
It sounds pretty good.
very, very thoughtful gift.
Sounds
And
pretty good.
so, how about you, sir?
I literally, this sweatshirt is my favorite Christmas present I got. It has a little dog on it, which I like. And so I wear a hooded sweatshirt basically all the time. Every day at work, just hooded sweatshirt, sweatpants. This is what I wear every day. And I told my wife, I was like, hey, I really want like more hooded sweatshirts because I have like 4 or 5 of them, and people see me in these same 4 or 5 hooded sweatshirts every day. Like I never change my clothes, which I don't. But also, I want to look like I changed my clothes. And this, I've been wearing this now 4 or 5 days. It's just incredibly comfortable.
You've been wearing it for 4 or 5 days in a row.
Yeah, of course, of course. I get dressed up for this show, Jordan. Um,
Well, it's a very nice sweatshirt.
it is a
And,
really, really nice sweatshirt, and I love this little dog on here. It's like
it's,
really cool, and it's like has that little rubbery feel, and I every once in a while I'll just go like that, pet the dog.
whenever when you're feeling overwhelmed at
Yeah,
work,
I'll
you're
just pet
like,
the dog.
"Oh, my emotional support dog
Yeah,
right here."
yeah, exactly, exactly. All
That's
right,
great.
topic number one, check. So,
Uh,
yeah, we have 9 topics, so this show's gonna last about 3.5 hours. I hope you're ready. TR Play One
Buckle
said they would hang around because they're the viewer, they're the one. I appreciate them saying that. Buckle up for the next 3.5 hours while we talk about stuff. All right, number two, 30 for 30.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. We're
into it.
rounding the home stretch coming in. Are you coming into
Day
the end?
28 was today.
All right.
Uh,
How is it holding up?
yeah, yeah. So I gotta say, over the weekend was really bad, like really bad. Like I was like, am I gonna make this thing? Like without having to just soft pedal some races. So on Sunday I did a very easy race on Saturday, like super flat course. I was able to keep 3.0 watts per kilogram, finish with the top group. I've been finishing with the top group almost every time. Then I did a 5 minute race on Sunday, and that was it. I actually raced Kevin. I was right with him to the last 30 seconds, like every single A race. I've raced Kevin twice during this. Both times I was with him until the last 30, 45 seconds. One was an
It's
hour 30 race, one was a 5 minute
I
race.
was going to say in this case that was 10 to 20% of the race.
Yeah, yeah, this was a large portion of the race. Really, the only portion of the race that mattered, I was just off the back immediately because I
Right.
felt so horrible.
So when you say you're feeling horrible, is that just the legs are like blocked,
Well,
so there's
hold
just
on.
nothing?
Yeah. I have no top end. I have no top end. Like I cannot sprint anymore. I just can't do it. But on Monday and Tuesday, I got the mythical fourth wind, Jordan. The fourth wind. So I was rocking and rolling Monday. Monday, I raced Legends in Lava, which goes up reverse Titans Grove and then goes up Volcano. Reverse Titans Grove, it was going slow, so I pushed the hill. First time for everything. I pushed the hill, dropped a couple people. I desperately trying to make a breakaway. I was just kidding. I was not. But it was fun. Like I was feeling really good, and I was like, Volcano, I'm gonna kill it. I hung with the pack all the way up until like there's like a K and a half to go, and I was like, I have raced a lot of days in a row. Like
I regret it.
these people have not. But set a new 5 minute power PR for 2021. I have set 15
That's a
second.
lot.
I've set 15 second, 1 minute, 5 minute, 20 minute power PRs during this. All of them.
That's something, and that goes like that sometimes, and even in stage races, you just have crap day, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah. And then
But
and then yesterday hung with on Crit City, a really long Crit City race. Did good, pretty good. But today I did not. Well, today I actually rode my third fastest reverse hilly KOM time ever, and fastest
wow,
since a year ago. Yeah.
Nice. And so you're hanging in. It's good to know you're human though, because like I was shaking my head. I'm like, how is this even happening? I'm good after this. But
I felt good
um,
for about the first 20, 21 days. And then it's been, and like, I mean, there was down times, but like then like last weekend, I was like, holy, like I was kind of like, I'm gonna put all my effort into it, but I was like, I kind of hope I get dropped in soft pedal because I was just like,
yeah,
I'm just, but I just can't
you
sprint
know,
anymore. I just can't go
putting
with the moves.
putting my coaching hat on, I think what's happening is like it's actually not a huge physical toll, like in terms of like your muscles and your system and your glycogen and stuff to do this because they're short.
Yeah.
You're not putting you're not putting that many TSS up on the board, like, but it does take a big toll on your nervous system, right? Because you're adrenaline, you're full. So like your body will bounce back, but that you'll just go through these swings. I'm sure like you have a bad sleep and you wake up and you're like, I just can't, and so that happens, and yeah, it just feels like it's like, oh, my muscles are not sore, but I literally can't sprint. There's nothing there,
Yeah.
and that thing, you're experiencing something that a lot of guys don't experience until they're racing huge stage races, because obviously in my world guys have this level of fitness where it's kind of hard to break yourself down that way, but I think the French call it a jour sans, a day without, and you just don't have anything,
Yeah.
like,
Well, so this is going to be in the next Zwift Insider article I write about. What this has really shown me, and my some of my key takeaways. It's like I cranked everything up to 11 for myself, and it's emphasized any day I get bad sleep, like the next day is garbage. Any day I don't have a recovery shake after my ride, the next day is garbage. If I don't drink enough water, the next day is like I can feel it. Every single like if I have a stressful day, I can feel it the next day. Like you can tell these things. Like if I eat real crappy one day, like I did over Christmas, like you can tell it just like grinds, and that's probably what happened, like why I felt so bad last weekend. It's like I had a whole bunch of like stressful, bad sleep, bad eating days, and it just amplifies everything you do. But it's been cool because like now in my real life I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do this stuff, but I know it's having this effect. It's just not as amplified.
you're gonna pay the piper eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And like a good example of that is in stage races, like sometimes you crash, happens. And I always find that the day after a crash, I actually ride really well because I think my system is still figuring things out. Lots of adrenaline, but the day after that, nothing.
Yeah.
And because all of a sudden you're not getting the sleep, you're distracted, you're probably not eating right, you're spending more time putting bandages on than you are, figuring anything else out. And so yeah, it's the little bits, and I don't know, coaching hat again. It's like when I coach people, most of the time I'm like, oh, don't stress the small stuff, because sometimes it's just like, oh frig, I just got to stay up. I can't get 8 hours of sleep tonight, and it's not going to ruin your world. But on those days where you're cranking it to 11, save up that willpower for those days, and you just got to cross your T's and dot your I's on those ones. Otherwise it doesn't work, right? Too,
Yeah.
and I bet you notice when you sleep and you eat properly, you're actually kind of getting better and setting these PRs,
Yeah.
and that's training actually working.
Yeah.
Whereas when you don't do that stuff, training just makes you slower, which is
Yeah.
kind of fun. But it's true. So 2 more days. What's the big finale?
So we're gonna see how tomorrow goes, but the plan as of right now, and I'm not willing to commit to it. I'm gonna do Grand Fondo on Friday,
What's that? Oh, the 72K route? That one?
the 93K route, I believe, because I'm a
Ooh.
big dummy, and he does a bunch of climbing, which is it's gonna take me like 9.5 hours or some insane number because the thing is like the longer climbing efforts, they're hard, but I just have this like I just get
Gotta
to
go
a
to
point and I just can't. I can just do it. Also, I'm standing up way more, like way more, because if
yeah.
I sit down too long now, like I find that whatever is going on, I'm standing up 10 times as
You
much as I normally do.
grinding? Are you grinding the cadence a little lower
Yeah,
too?
cadence has gone progressively down during this. I've
Yeah.
noticed that as well.
To get the higher cadence, it's more neurological feedback. So your nervous system is actually just, toning down. And so to get the wattage,
Shutting
you have
down.
to get the wattage, you have to force it out, like wring it out of those muscles.
And what's weird,
Um,
like today, I was in the chase race, tons of good people, very high level B race, one of the highest level B races I've ever ridden. I made it over that reverse KOM with the top group. Like I know they weren't pushing all out, but I mean it was hard. Like it was no joke. And
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
able. I think as I race after this, and I don't feel like a pile of dog crap every day. Like I have a lot. Like I'm in much better shape now than I was, on December 2nd when we had that project. Like I'm in way better shape, and I think I could just do a lot more than I think.
yeah. You just have to be careful combining normal training with this type of stuff in the future because it's very much one or the other. You kind of have to be like, I'm going to train a little more volume, a little more structured, or I'm going to race my butt off for 30 minutes and that's that, right? Because your body can't take both at once. So,
Yeah. Well, that's
but
I think I've tried to be too structured in the past, and I'm just not a
yeah,
very structured person. Like I just like I need to have racing season and then probably this summer for like 3 months, maybe do structured in like one race a week or something. But I just don't. I've just
it could
never been
work
the
for
type of.
you though. You could put a smaller cycle together. Like you could do, 1 week of structure and then the next week do 3 or 4 races in that week. And then a little recovery and then 1 week of structure. And then it probably could work for you. And motivationally, like, that's great. If I could
That's
do that, I would.
and that's my big thing. Like I used to do a lot of structure in college with running and stuff, and I'm just like
Well,
I'm just
you can't do this with running, right? That cycling is different.
no
Now you could
no no no. If I raced, it was hard to. Okay. The other thing is like, and this was my problem with running post collegiately, is and even collegiately, I just didn't race enough to get good at racing. You have to race to get good at racing. And
totally.
I am so much better at racing right now than I was a month ago. So, I mean, I'm getting 5, 10 places better now, even with no sprint, than I was at the start of December when my sprint was better because just of my racing mentality. And I know when I come back, like, and I'm feeling good, and like, I'll be, I'll be like, I'll be getting it. Like I'm excited to come. Like this has been amazing for me.
Oh, of course, somebody's calling my wife right now.
So there you go. It
It
happens.
happens.
This is why we make the big bucks, Jordan. It's because of stuff like this.
Very professional. I don't even know where the sound is coming from. It's not this phone.
Oh,
I honestly don't know where this ringing is coming
it's
from.
okay. I'll edit it out. I actually won't because I don't know how to do that. And also, sorry everybody, I've just forgot to do the podcast for like 3 weeks in a row. So
Oh, that's hey, that check. That's one of our That's one of our things.
yeah, there we go.
You
We're
can,
checking this stuff off. Let's move on to number 4.
let's
Oh,
just pause for a moment. I need to. Oh no, just
are
what
you
the hell
actually
is
taking
going?
a call?
No, I don't know where this noise is coming from. I feel like old man Shane here, but sweetheart, what is this? Oh,
Emily.
there it is. But the phone was wedged in beside the desk, and so I'm not crazy. I was just like, "Where the?" I'm like, "Hello, hello."
This is great. I can't figure out why we only have one viewer.
This is a high water mark for
This
the
really
show.
is. This is what happens when Jackie is gone for too long. We're like
Yeah.
half the show is like, "Where's the phone?"
That phone. Why are you calling me during dinner?
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Jordan's art. Let's talk about you. You wrote RGT. You wrote
Yes.
RGT.
So I have my 2022 season debut. It's going to be quite early, and with the new team, and it'll be on RGT, the Tour of the Gila Professional Weekend, which is next week, the 7th through the 9th. I'm pretty excited about that. But I haven't spent time on RGT at all. I was going to race a couple weeks ago the Iron Horse Classic. I was all set. I was registered, but then we got like this stomach bug, and I was wrecked. So did not do. So I decided I need to get on there, and I'm still figuring out like how to get into some races because the options aren't quite as plentiful as Zwift. But I
Yeah.
got on there. I wrote in a group. I kind of played with the draft a lot and figured out sort of a big part of it is kind of like closing gaps and stuff. It feels a lot different in RGT. Like you see, like someone's like 37 seconds up the road, or no, it's by meters. Yeah, you see it, and it's like, oh, they're 170 meters, and it like mentally to calibrate, and it closes differently, and you don't have a power up, and you really notice when you're closing a gap on a climb versus on the flat, which is like the road a lot more. Whereas Zwift, it kind of feels like sometimes you're a tractor beam, and if you set a certain watt per kilo, it's just like, you're going to bring it back. But RGT, there's a lot more finesse in that part of it. So I spent a couple hours on there so far, just playing around. Yeah, visually there's an adjustment because you kind of have
Yeah.
to like really pay attention to the gradient indicator because the road doesn't necessarily look like the gradient it is
Mhm.
uh, in my observation. So, and like the smart trainer kind of tells you, but after the fact, and so you kind of got to pay attention to that. Scenery was better than I remembered when I used it the last time. I think it's better as a user than watching the races right now because I do watch the Echelon Racing League and see how the boys are doing every week. And like it looks better than it did. It's still like not visually cohesive for me like Zwift is watching. Maybe that's just my experience. I've watched so much Zwift, but
Yeah.
as a user, you're on there and it's like, oh yeah, this feels right. Like this, like, and I look around a bit. There's stuff to look at, and it's cool. And uh, yeah, the draft is cool. Like it's more intricate, and I kind of found that a lot more fun to play around with. Uh, but yeah, I think it'll be cool. It'll be a baptism by fire. There's no way I'm going to learn the game before next weekend, so I'm just going to bring the big wattage guns and just you
There you
know
go.
just destroy based on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you heard it here. Jordan
Famous,
is
famous last word.
bringing the wattage guns and will destroy based on that. So I'm looking forward to
Yes,
that. You'll be
yes.
racing
So
Kevin, I think.
yeah, well, you better watch out because I got the 50 cal wattage bazooka
I
here.
love it. I love
So
this. This is like a
yeah,
new side to Jordan. I thought you were so
yeah.
nice.
No, I
Uh,
don't know. I haven't raced in earnest for a long time. Like I guess it was the summer. Feels like a while. Like I'm up for it in any case.
so
There's a time trial. Time trials are great, man.
there you go. Yeah, they're great for some people. I can't draft. So okay, I've been thinking a lot about RGT too. I did the one race on there, and I liked it. It was good, but I was dropped within the first 3 minutes because I was racing with A's. I just don't really want to race with A's. Like I was telling you this before the show, Jordan. Like I don't want to go race in a Pro 1-2 field either. Like it doesn't. Not only would I be dangerous, but like I don't want to just like be all
Let me
out and then get
let me break it to you. You wouldn't be around long enough to be
that. But
dangerous.
that's exactly. It was the same thing with RGT. Like I was just all out the first lap of this
Yeah.
27 lap race, and then I got dropped on the second lap, and then I found a little group, and it was fun racing these guys, right? But like
Yeah.
this sounds terrible, but like I would rather race 5 Bs than 30 A's and B's together. Like I
Yeah.
want to have some semblance of like winning the race, like
Well,
or at least like not getting wrecked by the field.
well, it's just not a, and I'm sure maybe I'll just message Eric and ask him about this because it just doesn't seem right. And maybe I'm sure the explanation is there's not enough numbers right now to do a
For
proper B
sure.
field. But what is a proper B field? And like if I was on Zwift in 2015 racing and the fields were like 4 or 5 guys a lot of time and we just did it, and that's how it was. And so maybe that's where you need to start. It just doesn't make sense like for you to race with A's. It's like,
I don't
it's
want to
not
race
like
Kevin. I don't want to race
no,
Oliver Dowd and all the research.
there's
Like I
yeah,
can do it on Zwift sometimes, like on the flat. Like I raced that race with Kevin, and I kept up for 64 kilometers because they weren't pushing that hard. But like it.
Yeah.
Like it was fine. Like I mean, I was doing it for a race because that was the time I had, and otherwise I would have had to do Alp de Zwift at 10 o'clock, and I'm not going to do that. So
No, that, but Zwift is better that way, like automatically because of the blob and stuff. I can
yeah,
sense right away why it's problematic, and like, but it's just like horsepower wise, you're down like 30% threshold on some of these
tons.
guys.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's not fun that way, and like racing shouldn't just be a pin it all the time. And I think the magic of RGT is probably when you're not all out because there's a lot more finesse involved, intricacy in the draft and all that stuff. Tactics actually mean something. And so, like, yeah, going forward, I'd hope they establish a B field and
well, I
uh,
wonder if they just get more bees just if they had an only bee field. Like if you build it, they will come, you know.
what they do, and this is a maybe a sensitive topic, I don't know, but they do on the road is often they combine the cat 4 or 5 men with the 2 3 women or something like that. Because the watts per kilo are very similar and they have separate results, but they're in one pack together. And stuff like that has happened. I don't know if they do it much anymore, but you got to have a decent field for it to be fun, probably. But let's find some people of more equal ability and fill it out. Maybe a race, maybe they have a junior category that's a thing they want to get going anyway. You
Yeah.
could race with 16, 17-year olds and yeah, yeah, just not because you need to compete against them, but it's good to have people to race with that are near your level.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean that I think that's the main thing. Like I just want more people near my level, and like I would rather race less people near my level than more people not. Because I mean, it was just I was just blasted out the back. I mean, it was like I made it
yeah,
up the
you want
first climb. I literally sprinted as hard as I could. I was at like 9 watts per kilo up this
oh
little
yeah,
goofy hill, which was fine. Like they were at 12, and then like I sat in
but
and
like
it got dropped.
yeah, like, and I can do 9 watts a kilo for like 2 minutes,
Yeah,
right? Not for a little while. Whereas so it's just a different game that way. So yeah, I bet there's a lot of people in the same boat as you. The whole thing RGT right now is like I think the base engine is very good. I think a lot of the ideas are like right on point to what we talk about. I just think like they're consolidating and they need to make the whole thing a little more plug and play. And so stuff like this is like clearly explained and like there's options and all that.
yeah.
It's still in its infancy, like crazy because it's been around for a while, but this stuff takes time to get momentum.
Well, and like
But
the other thing you see this in Zwift too with races. If 10 bees sign up for a race, you're probably going to get and it's a day before, you're going to get more. If
yeah,
like you get network effects basically based on the number of people if you get like it's like this chase race thing. If you get a bunch of good bees sign up for a race, more good bees come to it. Same with
the chip.
A's. I mean, like, yeah, look at the Saturday's Smash thing. There's no reason that's popular. Same with the Oh My Crits. There's no reason those popular other than good guys show up, so more good guys show up.
Yeah, there's no prize money, there's no specialness to the course, or
Yeah,
yeah, there's a tipping point where you probably need to see, yeah, maybe the number's 10, but yeah, I also noticed that the pace bots are on there, and they're actually, I think, for my money, better than the Zwift Pacers. They're kind of cool, like how they'll come by you and like because they know exactly how to use your draft, and so they'll come by you on the downhills and sort of cycle through, and it's like way more engaging. So you could have races that are filled out with bots just to make the
I've raced bots. I've raced bots on there. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be cool. And why couldn't you have that? So yeah, there's definitely room to grow. But I don't know. I tried it. I'm excited about it. It was cool. It feels closer to a finished product than maybe I expected. Even I kind of thought, just on premise, I thought, oh, this is going to be sort of a backyard boxing of racing. Like this is going to be hell on wheels, really hard, and like it's going to be the winner's the winner, but maybe not as polished. But it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe just all these things we take for granted on Zwift racing. Got to massage that out.
Yeah, I think it's a great platform. I just I don't want to race. I don't want to race you.
No, and
you know.
I don't think that's fair. I
Yeah.
don't
Uh,
think that's fair.
okay. You know what? We're gonna skip over the chase races thing. It's the second time they've done AutoCat. I've raced three of them now. They've been good races. They've been fun. We're gonna talk about it some other time, just in the interest of time, so we get to the last stuff. Do you want to skip Legion? We're gonna talk about Legion a little bit.
Oh,
You want?
I like I would like nothing better than to skip Legion,
Okay, let's skip Legion.
both here and everywhere.
Let's skip Legion. I also did one of those. I found it incredibly boring. There were too many people. Zwift races, because they only render the 50 people around you or whatever. If you have 300 people in a race, you just can't. I didn't know where the front of the pack was. I didn't know where the back of the pack was. So you had to just, everybody's fighting to stay in the middle. So
Right.
could have been a breakaway. I mean, there was not. But
And faster. Yeah, it just gets like, yeah, everybody wants to be at the same point. So it's like a
yeah,
jockey.
I think one thing I'd like to see Zwift do is just, it seemed like a great place for AutoCat, where
Yeah.
you would AutoCat 50 person fields, you know.
Yeah. Because I got news for you. 300 people fields don't work on the road either. It's
Yeah.
just too many. At a certain point, it's too many.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I like the big 5,000 person group rides they do. I mean, I don't normally do them, but sometimes I do, and I think they're great. I think it's fantastic. I think it's cool to get that many people. Like for racing, like you need to be able to feel the race, and you couldn't feel the race at all. You just, I literally had no idea what was going on. I was like, well, I'm assuming I couldn't sprint that day, but
I know I'm not winning.
yeah,
But
yeah. But I was like, I'm assuming I'm with the front pack. I don't think anyone else is up. So, and Eric did some great write ups, two of them on Swift Insider about him. So,
yeah, yeah. I'll just give a quick shout out to Eric. We'll go on this little tangent. Uh, yeah, I got my dad. I sent him my Neo that I had from Worlds last year because I got the new Saris, and so he's new to Zwift basically. Smart trainer makes all the difference, all that good stuff. But
yeah,
like he's asking me these questions that we all have about Zwift, and like every single question you could possibly have is on Zwift Insider. You don't appreciate that now that you know the things,
yeah.
but holy crap. Like you that just think of any question towards about Zwift and it's like, oh, it's on there. Yeah, he's talking about it.
He's a baller.
It's pretty incredible. Piece by piece, day by day, he's put together the encyclopedia of Zwift. It's
yeah,
cool.
he really has. He's fantastic. All right, we're skipping right to it. Yearly wrap, Jordan.
Yearly.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about 2021. In general, how'd it go for you, man?
2021, it was an interesting year. Like I would say, in some respects, it was harder than 2020 because maybe we expected to be racing on the road and we, prepared for it a lot more. And there was less novelty to the fact that we weren't racing. In 2020, I did like the Everest and the Project Echelon series, and it was all like new experiences and cool, and actually quite a break from what had been, to that point, like 4 years of professional racing that kind of grinded me. But yeah, it was tough because stuff would get canceled. My team ended up not kind of filling in the gaps very much to find racing. A lot of mental baggage on the team in terms of the whole pandemic transition. So on the road, it was rough, and we got some good races in. I felt like I was fitter than I was ever been. Like I've made gains during this time and really worked hard, but didn't really get enough chances to show that. And on the Zwift side, not as good either. It wasn't a negative year, but like these things, like I still accomplished some things I'm really happy with in life and on the bike, but not really in the racing as much actually.
Yeah.
The Premier League I'll just say it was a disaster. Wasn't very good at all. Wasn't fun, and lost sight of that, and let a lot of the stuff that it could be toxic about that level of the sport get to me. The cheating and just you go down that road, it becomes not fun. So there's definitely a period of not so much fun on the bike this year, but again, it reinforces how much I just like riding the bike and training. It's been good times, man. Every time I'm out on the bike, good times, week in, week out. And I at the end of the year, third quarter of the fiscal year here, we really rounded it up and had a good time because got on a new team, Echelon, which I'm super excited about. Everything's been a breath of fresh air about that, and we will be racing. I can be confident in that. Barring complete disaster. I'll say if we're not racing, no one's racing. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
is the whereas in 2021 there's lots of people racing, and I just wasn't one of
Hmm.
them. So yeah, there's that. We sold our house in Canada. Had some good luck finally financially in this pandemic with the real estate market. Bought this fabulous place down here. We're U.S. residents now, which haters gonna hate, but
Welcome.
I like I like it. It's been good and like yeah, making lots of friends here. It's funny we've been to Tucson so many times over the years, but when you actually say I live somewhere and this is my home, you start to make friends in a different way in the
Yeah.
community. And Tucson's great, man. There's so many good cyclists here. There's so many good people in general. So yeah, we turned it on at the end and all the way through. Actually, this show has been one of the good things, and you know, uh, the racing might not have been good on Zwift, but it's always a positive in my life because I just find it to be a good community and this show and otherwise the people around have been good. So
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll echo that on the community. I was just talking to one of our mutual friends. The community around Zwift, the friends I've made have been fantastic. I mean, you, Jackie, Kevin, like Karsten, Johnny, like all these people, like this have this big network. Ryan, like there's too many to even to mention, right? All the guys on the draft team, just like
Yeah,
tons and tons of people. I mean, that I communicate with almost on a daily basis. Which is really cool. Like it's been, and I know a
yeah,
lot of people have found that in Zwift. Like I hear that on the dirt teams, on like the Fearless. There's a lot of teams that are really, really close and have that. I know Z-Sun. I've talked to Z-Sun a little bit. Like it's really
yeah.
cool. Like Zwift is.
And I've gotten to meet some of the people in person now and ride with them, which is awesome, man. And it's actually such an interesting connection when you do meet these people.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. You met Ian, right? You rode with
yeah.
Ian.
And Paige was here in
Oh,
Tucson.
really?
Yeah, she was here with her 2022 or 2024 team doing the Tucson tour.
Huh?
And yeah, so went rode with her and her teammate, and it was awesome. We never met in person, obviously, but we had 3 hours on the bike, and yeah, you just have this automatic thing because you're like you have this thing in common that's very strange to everyone else.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. No,
it's a good
that's
time.
that's awesome, man. I mean, it's a fantastic community, and I mean, yeah, truly thank you to everybody who I've interacted
Yeah,
with this year. Like, I mean, I really appreciate each and every one of you. I don't mean that too, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's hey, you had an interesting year though because you've had like a few different jobs too, right? You were a
yeah,
high school for a while.
yeah. I've had 3 jobs this year. I was an energy efficiency engineer. I was a principal at a school for interim principal at a school for a month, and now I'm working at a startup in sales. So yeah, I've had an
I
interesting year.
feel like one day when you have grandkids, that's something you can tell them they won't believe. I was the high school principal for a month.
Yeah,
They just
yeah. I
that's
feel
great.
like there's a lot of things that I've done here in the past like 5 or 6 years that have been all over the place, which is good. It's good though. Like I'm glad. Yeah, this year like I had some. I got very burnt out at the start of the year, and so I actually rode like Strava came up like 80 or 90 less days than I did last year. Last year I was just rolling, but you know, I feel like I'm basically back to the level I was at last year before me and my family got COVID, which is the best I've ever been on the bike. Like I feel like I'm back there. Like I said, I've set a bunch of PRs. Like I mean, I'm like 2 seconds off from these times that I set last year. Like, hey, um,
Yeah,
yeah. Like, what are you going to complain about, right?
yeah, yeah. And that excuse me, that's something that I remember for myself always, and I tell athletes too when they have layoffs, when they lose motivation and they're struggling to come back. Like all that work, we get in this mindset that you're only as good as your last week of training or whatever. All that work you've done over the time, and it goes for life too. It still counts, right? It comes back when
Yeah.
when you get back to it. So yeah, after my accident, I was like, oh, my life is over. I'm not fit. I'm never gonna. It's gonna take a year to be fit again. It's like you can. It's still there, man. And so that's good to realize. Sometimes it takes a bad situation like burnout to realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's funny, like every time I get sick, I'm like, am I gonna have a cold for the rest of my life? And then like 2 days later it's gone because I just wildly
This,
overreact to everything.
this is my life now.
I
Yeah,
know, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Jim Jeffries had that in a comedy routine. When a kid gets sick, they're just like, the world is over. This is my life now.
Yeah.
And you make fun of them, but then when you get sick, you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is it. Miserable.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like no, I think it was a good year. And like I've loved doing this 30 for 30. Like it has been rejuvenating for me personally. And then we're taking a week vacation next year, so we're kicking off 2022, right? Which rolls us into our what a good segue. I'm such a good host, even though we took a 20-minute detour at the start. So Jordan, 2022 goals. What we got? So first of all, you're gonna win the echelon all 3 days, like you said. What
I'm at least,
after?
I'm at least gonna go down swinging, man.
I like it.
Yeah, on the road, there's some races that I'd like to win.
Ooh,
Redlands is one I've come close to in the past. That's a big, probably the oldest stage race in North America now. Tour de Beauce, which is in Canada, so we'll see if that happens. But that's on the list. There's a couple races like in my career I want to win, and I know I'm better now than ever. And I've got a team that is going to support me, and like just get back to it. Get my own hands in the air a few times, and help my teammates and
can I
engage with.
ask a question, Jordan? And I understand this is incredibly naive, and you're gonna laugh at me. Okay. Do because you're on a continental team, is that correct? Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Okay, so you're on a Conti team. Do you guys have like Froome like leaders? Are you like one of those people? Or is it like there's a whole bunch of people like that and you just pick your races depending on
No, it's constructed in the same way. I think you could think of it more like a traditional sport like football. Like there's always a quarterback, even if it's high school. There's always a running back. Like so, certain guys are, and if you build a team intelligently, you're always going to have those roles. And so we got some sprinters, and we got a couple, probably three guys that can go for the GC and the races. And so maybe we'll pick our own objectives amongst us, but shit tends to happen in racing, and so sometimes it's just not gonna be good for you luck wise, and some one of your other teammates will do it. But yeah, I'm definitely one of the GC leaders on the team, and that'll
Ooh.
be my goal.
Are you
So
gonna race up here in Northern Illinois? Am I gonna get to Intelligentsia?
it's on the calendar,
Oh?
and you just have to, maybe we have Eric on for a third time and convince him to send me to some crits, because right now I think I'm more set up on the road racing, and I'm like, I actually like crits. So yeah, if it works, man. I'd like to. I've never been to Chicago before. Never done that. I'm at the point in my career that I kind of want to do new racing too. Cool. Uh, yeah, dude. Same for it.
I know a picture of us two in real life. Somebody pay a
Dude,
dollar or two for that, maybe.
we'll make an NFT of it, and
Yes,
then
thank you. It'll sell for $100 million then, just because of our
perfect.
faces. Because of our faces.
And your goal, and of course all these the other goals that be good to my wife. The
Yeah, yeah,
standard
yeah,
life stuff,
yeah,
but like we know that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
how about you? How about your
So I mean, I would like to get on the bike on average 5 days a week. Like, I mean, I don't have obviously like I'm not going for the tour of the Redlands or anything like that. But like, no, I think
oh,
getting on the bike 5 days a week. I'd like to. I bought my son a mountain bike. We bought my son a mountain bike. Uh,
yeah.
it'd be fun to go mountain biking with him. We have some vacations planned and stuff like that. But like, as far as Zwift goes, I want to race more. Like that's the one thing. Like we were talking about earlier. It's just so motivating and fun, and I enjoy it. And like just I think I got too caught up in like, oh, I need to do this really structured training to get my FTP to X, Y, and Z to be able to do PDQ. And it just like it just didn't work for me. I just didn't like trying to do it, and like I'd get on the wagon and I'd do all these trainer road workouts, and I'd fall off, and I'd get on and fall off again because like I just don't really like doing trainer road workouts for that
Yeah.
for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. I don't like the down weeks. I don't like the up weeks. Like I can do some of it and it's fine and it's good and like I feel it working, but like I'd rather like go and try to beat somebody's ass. Like
Yeah.
it's stupid
Yeah.
sounding, but like
Get off my lawn.
yeah,
Like like Rick wants to throw down, kiddo.
yeah, I know. I know that's what I like is what I've been like this as long as I can remember. Like I was running, like yeah, people are like, "Oh, I get in this groove and blah blah blah," and I'm like, I'm running to beat the hell out of someone. That's why I'm
Yeah.
running a lot.
A certain type of character for sure. And you see that even in the professional world. There's guys that just it's racing or it's nothing.
Yeah,
And so yeah, no, to ride the horse that brung you,
yeah, I
keep
know.
going.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. But yeah, I think just right. I don't have any like concrete goals. The 5 days a week would be awesome. Like that's a good goal. Like I want to lose like 10 pounds. Like I'm fine. Like I don't if I don't, no worries. But like I would like to eat a little bit healthier and just get down to just like a I don't want to be skinny because I just don't find it fun and I like cookies and stuff. So like I'm gonna do that. But like I just want to get down to like 160 ish. It's like it's a nice racing weight for me. It's a weight where I'm like feel good, you know.
3.999 asymptote at that weight.
But that's the thing. Like okay, where I'm gonna take another tangent. Zwift racing categories other than A are just self-fulfilling prophecies,
Oh
right?
yeah.
If my FTP was at 6.9 right now, I just accidentally made a joke. But let's say it was really high. Let's say I had your FTP, like in watts per kilogram. If I raced B, I would still average 3.2. Like,
You would?
yeah, of course I would. Why wouldn't I? I'm just going to sit in the draft. The point of racing is not to TT off the front. It's to like save energy until if I can hold 9 watts per kilo for 2 minutes, then I just blast the last 2 minutes of every race and win. Like
There you go.
why the hell
Yeah.
would I rate why the hell would I ride hard for 45 minutes when I ride hard for 2 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Like
feel you.
but that's the thing. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can stay in B and like be much better than a B. You can race flat A races no problem and stay a B. Like that race I did the other day, I did it with Kevin was in it. There were like one or two next guys. There were a couple Velocio guys. There was Cote, Pierre-Andre Cote. I think I don't you know his name.
Yeah. 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 That's him.
All these dudes were in it. I averaged like 3.4, 3.5
Yeah.
because in that
Well,
there were
there's
guys
some.
in there averaging 4.3, 4.4. Like you just don't have to do work if you pick court. Like you can just I could be if I race C, I would just be a C. I would just average C watts per kilogram.
Yeah. Well, there's something nice about that in a world of endurance sports where it's always like I got to get this much better. I'm not shaving time or adding watts. I'm not doing it right. It's like no, there's a if you can just play the game, that's pretty sweet, and not and learn just to play it better and better, right? Not bring a bigger hammer, but try to do a better job with it.
Well, and that's what
Yeah,
like I guess the two 2022 goals. I want to get my 1 minute power higher. I want to get my sprint power. I want to get to 1200 watts, and I want to be able to sprint at 13 watts per. I want to be able to win any B race. I want to be able to win any B race, which is
yeah,
that's a big goal because there's some really good. But like I want to go into like right now, like yeah, I'm very arrogant, so I think I can win every race. But really, I know like there's a lot of guys. I wanna go in there and be like, if this broke right, I could win it. You know.
yeah. Well, hey, that'd be a nice thing to have because I certainly will never have that in any bike race.
But
But
but that's not true. You're talking about winning the Redlands Classic. You know.
oh, sure, yeah, there. I mean, and there's definitely going to be a stage where it's like, no matter how good I am, I can't win that one guarantee.
Well, yeah, no,
But
there'll be B races. Like if we
yeah,
race the Alp, I'm not going to win.
yeah, yeah, I gotcha.
I mean,
No,
like,
that's cool. And I wish more people would do that too. Is say like I want to focus on that punchy. This FTP stuff is very appealing because it's like incremental progress. But if you can get better at that other stuff, it's like way more demanding and like exact to do it. You can't just throw stuff at the fan and but yeah, that'll pay off. So
well, and that's what I like courses like New York, like Richmond, like Yorkshire. I don't like doing Epic or Alp or Ventoux. Like I don't I did that all the time in running where we just hammer for 15, 30 minutes, whatever.
yeah,
I mean, I was pretty good at it back in the day, but like I think it's like I like working racecraft and having like really not that there isn't racecraft in climbing. I know there is when you get to a certain level. I just don't want to get to that level.
yeah, no. Yeah, you have to take things to the extreme
Yeah.
to even get invited to that party. Uh, uh, yeah. Well, hey man, those are good goals, and I think you can do that. And you ever had a red hot start, like you've made the big change before the new year even came. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it was
we'll
because of
see.
the show. It was because, you and Kevin and like I just counted days on that one thing. So
Oh,
it
be
was
looking
cool.
forward to the last wrap up article and a big final race as well. The 93
We'll see if I do it. Where it really depends. Like I don't really want like a 4 hour grind on the bike or something, but
Do it
also
for the viewer, Rick.
yeah,
Viewer.
yeah. A lot of people watching those races that I stream on my personal channel. Um, all right, so that's it. That's the show. We only went 6 minutes over after a 20-minute thing because we
We'll see
skipped
y'all
about four topics.
next year. I'll be that guy. See y'all next year.
Ooh, there we go. I love it. I love it. All right, so Jordan Shane, peakformcoaching.com, Project Echelon Racing, undisclosed, kind of disclosed virtual racing team. Um, yeah, Jordan. Yeah, thanks for everything this year. You're part of that crew that I was talking about that I've met and got to know. So thank you for everything. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you, sir. It's been a journey. It's been great.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you all. Yeah, in the new year, probably 2 or 3 weeks from now, because I'm on vacation next week. So we'll see you then.